as well as a few of my own stories to share with you guys. At the end, when I'm discussing my stories, I'm going to do a little bit of hair brushing for you guys to soothe you, soothe you, soothe you, soothe you. This video is dedicated to my very good friend Ashley, who requested this. Ashley is such a sweet friend of mine. Whenever I see her, I literally light up from the inside. She is so sweet. We connect in a certain way that is just, she's just very, very sweet and dear to me. She also is a huge supporter of my channel. Every single time I see her, she's mentioning something, and it's like, oh, I love that reciprocation of friendship where you can talk to the person about their stuff and yours, and it's just very, very wonderful. So thank you so much, Ashley. You are so sweet, and I hope that this can put you into a deep, deep, deep slumber. For the rest of you, please consider clicking subscribe and leaving a comment and a like, as well as following me on TikTok and Instagram. I am all set. Without further ado, please sit back, sit back, sit back, sit back, and enjoy these wonderful, wonderful, spooky stories. So I am going to be chewing this wonderful, wonderful Orbit Sweet Mint Gum. This Orbit Sweet Mint Gum is artificially flavored. It has 14 little pieces in this packet. You get a cleaner feeling when you're chewing it. I'm not so sure about bubbles. This gum reminds me of my mom for some reason. She chews Trident, but they're in the same little tiny pieces like this, huh? Another thing you'll notice is I have my readers on because I have printed out the Reddit stories in sort of big print so that I can see them. So guys, yes, I realize you're looking at this and hopefully the aesthetics of the background are eerie, but for this part of this, I will be having my glasses on, reading this, and hopefully you will enjoy this whispered ramble, again to put you into a sleepy, sleepy, sleepy state. Okay. These are very short little stories, so sorry. Okay, so this happened to me last summer when I was back at my parents' house during the holidays. It was around 3 a.m., as it always is. It's always around 3 a.m. It was around 3 a.m., and I was in my room on my computer when I got a call from my sister. Now, that was a little bit weird because my sister's room is just down the hallway from mine, and she could have just come into my room. Why was she calling? I went to pick up, and the call ended as soon as I reached the phone. I figured that she wanted to speak with me, so I got up and I went to her room. As soon as I reached her door, she started screaming that someone was in the room with her. So I busted in, and of course, nobody was there. After she stopped crying, she told me that she woke up and saw a dark shadow just centimeters from her face, and that's when she screamed. So I told her that she had called me. She said that her phone was not even in her room, and she was sleeping before this face came up. Sure enough, her phone was downstairs in her purse. The weird part is that I have the log of her call on my phone, but she doesn't. Never managed to explain that one. It would be very, very creepy to wake up and have a shadowy figure right near your face. A lot of times I'll be dreaming, half dreaming, and I'll wake up and I'll still see little things. It's just a waking response to your dreams. Okay. I'm gonna have to put another piece in, guys. I'm gonna have to put another piece because this gum is so tiny. I should have gotten like Hubba Bubba. someone walking upstairs. It starts on one side of the room, walks to the other, and stops. This will happen twice a night. I didn't start hearing it until I was about 14, when my grandparents started making me sleep in a different room on the first floor because they started sleeping in separate bedrooms. Blah, blah, blah. That is hilarious, regardless of both of their rooms being on the first floor. For a little backstory, I've always been afraid of the upstairs of their house. I don't know why, but it's always freaked me out, and I refuse to ever go up there alone. I'm 23 now, still I won't go up there alone. Remember, everybody, I'm reading someone else's story in case someone that has never seen my channel comes on and is like, "You're 23? What?" Okay, I'm reading someone else's story. There's one room specifically. It's long, narrow bedroom. When you open the door, there are closets on your left and right, a bed placed roughly in the middle of the room, and a window on the far opposite side of the door. I was told growing up by my grandparents that the sons of the previous owner claimed to see something come out of the closet at night, walk around, and go back into the closet. I thought nothing of the story until I had to start sleeping in the other room, the room located directly below the scary room upstairs. So, we all go to bed, all the lights are off, and I'm awake lying in the bed and I hear it. Thump, 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 starting at one end of the room upstairs. It got closer to me, passed right above me, and continued to the end of the room where it stopped. I'm wide awake, terrified out of my mind. It was no question to me that I had heard footsteps. It was a very slow, casual pace. I went into my grandpa's room and told him what I heard, and he told me that the house is old and it creaks. But he turned the dining room light on for me, so I felt a little safer. I tried going back to sleep. Then it started again, this time from where it ended the first time by the window upstairs. It walks over me again, and it stops when it reaches the door. I thought it was over until I heard it coming down the stairs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Silence as it reaches the landing. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and silence again as it reached the first floor. I was frozen in shock. Whatever it was on my floor of the house, and sadly unaffected by the dining room light. I was staring at the doorway to my room. The dining room light was shining in and my vision began to distort. I felt dizzy with fear, so I pulled the blankets over my head, and I suddenly heard a scratching sound from inside my room. I knew exactly where it was coming from my grandpa's gun case. Oh, that's scary. It was very obvious, scratching wood, long scratches down the front. I could even hear the door ever so slightly tapping against the frame as the scratching began. I tried to scream and I couldn't. I took a second, took a deep breath, and I let out a loud scream. In seconds, my grandpa made it to the room, and I was relieved. Needless to say, he didn't believe me, so I did what any normal person would do. I draped a sheet over the side of the bed, and I slept underneath it. I wrapped myself tight in a comforter, put on headphones, and turned my back to the door. There could be a party of ghosts in my room, and I wouldn't even know it. The next morning, my grandpa told my grandma about what happened the night before. She said, "Oh, that's silly. You know, your cousin woke me up last time she stayed here, and she said, I hear footsteps." I slept under the bed for the rest of my week. Okay, now guys, I'm going to be brushing your hair as I tell you some of my own fairly creepy stories. So they also wanted to add to their vacation, so to speak, a ghost tour that they had previously been on. Now, my sister told me a couple things from this ghost story, and it was like, oh, that's creepy. I'd never go there. Anyways, and my sister is really not one to embellish. She just is very factual and gets on with it. It's not like she doesn't embellish or sugarcoat the story. Sometimes I make my stories a little bit more dramatic. They're not lies, but they're a little bit more exciting how I tell them, because I want to tell good stories. But my sister just told it like it is anyway. So she says that they go to this ghost tour, and this is my niece's first time, and they're going by all these relics that are in containers, and she had specifically mentioned one of them that was very creepy. It was a life-size doll, like a 4-year-old boy doll, just like, that movie, The Boy. And this doll is, dressed up in this container, and the tour guide always says, do not take pictures because we don't want the flash to be triggered, And he also, this time around, he even said, he basically says, if you take pictures, your camera's going to be messed up, or your future pictures are going to be blurry and contain weird images, etc. So basically, they go on their way. They're going through the museum. They see the boy, and my niece takes a picture of the doll. He even said, don't do it, and she turned off the flash. So anyways, so she is reviewing the pictures later, and she says she sees something weird. She's telling me the story as it's happening. So I'm like, oh, do I want to even see that picture? I don't want to have nightmares. She goes, no, just tell me what you see in this photo. So she shows me the picture, and it's like there's a box with this boy in it, and there's a wall in back of it, like 2 feet in back of it, sort of curving around. And I just see that person looking into the, like a person staring at the doll. And she said, that is not a person, that was not there. And I'm like, what? Now it's it's not perfectly crisp or clear, but this person is standing like 3 feet away from the doll. They had to stay a little ways back because there was a roped off area where all these things were. And this person looks like he's 3 feet back. He or she looks like he's wearing a hood and partial face exposed, just staring at the doll. And she said, nope, you could not get past the little ropes that they had roped off. And that was not in the picture. Like, when she took it, there was no one there. That is creepy if it's true. It's like, oh, that's very creepy. Then, after she went to the next picture, all of her pictures were very blurry, and she was very upset because she hadn't checked my guess. And I'm like, maybe you should delete the picture of the boy and see what happens. Sure enough, deleted that picture. All the pictures completely resolved and are clear. So that's a little bit just goofy, creepy, weird. Okay, that's the first thing. The second, they keep going down. They keep going, down the tour, and the next thing is a tunnel. Now they're outside. This tunnel is not inside the museum, it's outside. You can completely see the woods around this tunnel. It's not like it's built into anything to where they could have like a trap door where someone can come in. It's completely like a standalone, big, huge tunnel that you can see on both sides and above. And the tour guide says inside this tunnel, which we have capped off, like you can't exit the tunnel, it's capped off, there are spirits that linger in the tunnel. Now, they are friendly spirits. Nothing bad's happened on our tour. Nothing bad's happened, but they are friendly spirits. Does anybody want to see if they can experience something? So, of course, it's my niece's birthday. My niece is like, I'll do it. She's fearless. And my sister's like, I'll go with you. Okay, so it's a very dark tunnel, and the tour guide even shone his flashlight in there to make sure they could see that it was capped off. There's no exit. Don't go running down the tunnel or else you're going to get trapped in it. But he wanted to show that there's nothing in there. They could see it completely. So they turn off said, what do you mean? Like there was a fan hooked up? She said, no, no, no. She said, like the air turned like like Arctic crisp cold all of a sudden. Like she could tell that her breath could be seen. That's very weird. Anyways, so she said she felt like it was that cold, and then all of a sudden something touched their arms, like someone literally touched their arms. And needless to say, they went screaming out of the tunnel. They were freaked out. Well, my niece said that all of a sudden her skin started burning, feeling like it was burning, and I thought, what? That right there is very creepy. And she started praying, please let this pass, please let this pass. And she said eventually, within like less than a minute, her skin resolved. But I thought, I am never going on that tour. That is creepy. I'm not going to put myself in danger or have my skin burning. No thank you, that's creepy. The next one I'm going to tell you, and then I'll save my stories for next year. Like, I have so many other stories to tell, but I just don't have time to. I'm gonna have to wait. Anyways, the next story from my childhood, and I thought this was just a little creepy. It made me fearful of one of the bedrooms in our house when we lived up north. We lived in a townhouse. We had a living quarters. We had the middle floor living room and kitchen and dining room, and we had a basement that was typical for these townhouses. And anyways, we also had a Himalayan cat named Fluffy that loved my dad. Whenever he came in and sat in his recliner, Fluffy was either on the floor near him or sitting like on the reclined area at the foot of it with my dad. So anyways, on this particular day, my dad comes home, reclines, he's reading the paper. That's a normal thing to do back then. And all of a sudden, in the only bedroom upstairs, we had 3 bedrooms, the only bedroom that had wood floors, we hear a ball bouncing. It's like, okay, so anyways, so the cat is not allowed in that room. That's my older sister's room. She was off to college. We were supposed to keep the door shut. No one was really supposed to go in there, let alone the cat. So my dad's like, go up and get that cat out of there, because sure enough, we didn't see him around. Okay, so I walk up the stairs, and there is Fluffy at the top of the stairs. There is the bedroom door open with a ball like 2 feet in, just sitting like a racquetball, sitting in the room. So, of course, I leave the ball in there. I don't do anything. All I do is shut the door, and I go, get, and Fluffy runs down the stairs towards my dad, area. So about an hour passes, and all of a sudden we hear